First question that I wanted to ask you about is why is electromobility important?
Why it is important?
Yeah.
Because we have to take care about our environmental issues and about the question how we want to live in the future. So if you take a look, and it's actually researched, it was that we don't have any fuel, gas, oil, anything in about 30 to 40 years. So we have to think about how we generate energy, first of all to heat, to move, to run our industries, and secondly, we have the problem of exhaust fumes, emissions. So we need to think about how to change our industries, our behavior, and of course our mobility to actually have a chance to live in the future. So this is the main course why we think about changing our mobility. And the second course is obviously if you don't have the resources like you do today, you have to change your industry in general. So now it's also a preparing time that industry will change in the future. So just take electromobility as a part, as a technique to change an entire industry complex.
But why Germany? Germany is famous for its car manufacturing.
That's right, yeah.
Are you working with local or like national companies, for example, BMW or Mercedes, to produce new mobile cars, or?
Well, first of all, it's maybe important to say what the Berlin Agency for Electromobility is actually for, because this is a little bit different. We don't produce any cars. Here at EMO, our task is to promote electromobility and the side industries, like connected driving, autonomous driving, even energy transition, and all those topics.
And you're working with the government?
We work also with the government, the local government, like the Senate, and of course the ministries, and of course the industry. You have to involve companies, yeah? But we don't produce anything. It's more, we do projects, we promote the topic, the political topic, but we don't produce.
No, that's what I meant. Like, do you work with local companies that produce cars?
Yeah. Of course, BMW, for example, is important. First of all, it's one of the greatest car producers in Europe in general. But they actually changed their entire company strategy towards electromobility with the i3 and the i8, as they changed their entire car producing processes. So it's actually they built up a new process, just going into electromobility. This is different because Volkswagen, for example, they didn't change their producing processes. So if you produce, let's say, a Golf with a diesel engine or an electric engine, it doesn't matter, it's all on the same stage. That's why the cars look the same. BMW not. The i3 looks a lot different apart from all the other BMWs. So different strategies. But here, like you say, the European Union, or Germany is a great part in that. First of all, we have a very important part in the European Union. And so it's one of our tasks to go forward in those topics. Environmental questions, of course, society questions. And it's our political goal to achieve more, let's say, environmental goals here, like being a model, a role model, also for other states around. Not to say all other states do also good work, like in Netherlands or even France. Yeah? But Germany, it's more a political task. The first step.
When did you start this whole project for electromobility, and do you have an end date?
Yeah, it actually all started in 2011, 2012, and it was from the federal government a goal to set up a strategy for new mobility concepts e.g. electromobility. I always say that because there are also other ways to change mobility, not only electric. Or even electric, you have the HO2 engines, etc. And the main political goal is to set up 1 million electric cars by 2020. This is the main goal. Here in Berlin, Berlin-Brandenburg has been one of the 4 regions that take part in the showcase electromobility. So you have Baden-Württemberg, it's one, Niedersachsen, so Lower Saxony, then Berlin-Brandenburg, this is the city's capital area, and the capital region, and Bavaria and Saxony. So you have 4 regions, and IMO coordinates all the activities and the projects concerning this international showcase for electromobility. So we started here by 2012, and it was all set up in 2011.
Okay. How did you start? Did you start from installing the electric, I don't know how to call them, stations where you plug in your car, or did you start with more communication and more like projects about actually telling society about electromobility?
Yeah. It was more, at the first step, it was more a lot of talking, of course, because you needed some analysis. First of all, a strategy. How do you actually want to go forward? Because nobody actually knew in 2011 where our way is going to. So first of all the players, the key players, like the government, the different ministries, the Senate, people here at the IMO, or at Berlin Partner, at the companies, the research institutes, like the Technical University of Berlin, for example, they all came together and talked about what do we actually want to achieve, what is our goal, and what key factors do we actually have right now, and how can we develop those factors towards our goal. This was the first stage. Then IMO was set up by the Senate to coordinate all those activities. And then they formed projects out of this strategy. So this is the action plan I gave to you. And out of this action plan, actually, all those projects developed. And we coordinate here this project in this way that we don't, we're not, how to say, a producing part in those topics. We are like more a coordinator. Mm-hmm. So we looked at all the players come together, they talk together, it's not always that easy, and that actually the money comes, because you need the funding for all the projects.
Where does the funding come from?
Yeah, so and then you have the different players, like the car industry, they manufacture the car as a product, because they want to sell, of course, that's the purpose of a car producer, he wants to sell cars, that's it. And then you have the side industries for the charging infrastructure, like RWE or Vattenfall. And they produce the charging stations. And now it was our task to bring all those together and set them up in the city. But they can do it by themselves. They don't actually need an IMO to set up a charging station. But they need like a lawyer to speak up for them at the Senate, at the political stage. And their IMO is like a network, like a how to say, like a linked.
It brings all stakeholders
bring
together.
All together. Right.
Do you have any information how many stations, charging stations you have by now, and where did you start? Did you start from the central city? Did you start from the Mitte, or did you start from the neighborhoods around the central?
Yeah. Up to now, this is the actual number, we have 636 charging points, not charging stations, so charging points. And most of the stations, they have 2 charging points, so one station has 2 charging points.
Okay.
So we have 636 charging points, so about, let's say, 350 charging stations, and 31 of them are fast charging stations. And it was actually a strategic decision of the manufacturers like Vattenfall, for example, where to place them. Of course, city center was preferred because you see I lose my hair.
Probably mine as well.
You see, the purpose of an electric car, firstly, was to be mobile in the city, in the urban city
District.
Yeah. It was not pretend to be moving towards entire Germany. This was a point that came a little bit later on. First of all, it was the idea to change the mobility of people in the urban districts. So, let's say a mobility concept for urban structures. This was the first idea. And that's, of course, one reason. And the second reason, of course, to get all the exhaust fumes out of the inner city because of smog. And if you see Stuttgart, they have really problems with too much exhaust fumes. They say shut down the entire city or tell their people, please don't drive car today because too much in the air, the pollution is too high. And we in Berlin, we tried to prevent that. We didn't want that stage, but if you see, this city has about 4 million citizens. They all want to be mobile. They all want to move. Of course, we have a very good public transportation system, but and you've seen it. You were walking around, but there are a lot of cars. So you need to actually invent and plan concepts which brings people out of the cars and to mobility concepts that are clean, efficient, and easy to reach and easy to handle. And electromobility was one step towards that because if you can, the cars, just stay near the cars, if you have car sharing only with e-cars, it's a lot better if you have the same amount of cars with a diesel engine, right? So that's why we tried first to get this concept in the urban structure, and then it was broadened out.
Yeah. Did you also adopt a law, not you, but a municipality adopt a law about diesel cars and other fuel cars? For example, because a lot of cities in the world have actually prohibited diesel cars at all. Did Berlin use some kind of this strategy, or
Not now. But that's a good point. Like Beijing.
yeah,
I think.
or like Athens as well?
Yeah.
In Europe.
Paris, even Paris now it's starting. London is starting. Could be, yeah, in the future that Berlin goes the same way. I really could imagine that. It wouldn't be for our case. It wasn't too bad.
But it hasn't come to on the agenda yet.
Well, in Germany we have those environmental zones in the cities. Have you heard about that?
No.
If you have a combustion engine, they measure how many emissions you bring out, and then if you're a little bit cleaner, you get a green button. And if not, you get a brown button or red button. And then you drive to the inner cities, which have those environmental zones. You have a sign, only permitted for those colors.
That's really interesting.
So this was the pre-stage of this. It's just the same concept what Beijing did, but they just said no, you're not, and we said half. But you're right. It's actually, I think it's a question of time.